as the oasis of the new age.
More than half of the century of our country's independence enjoyed by Indonesia, from Sabang to Merauke,
As the oasis
from
of the new
to the
age.
soul. This independence not is development for a gift, but say more than half lasted the century of our country's independence, but enjoyed by Indonesia, the struggle from Sabang to Merauke.
As the oasis of the
Today,
new
with the
age.
soul in the hand, this independent here not is development for a gift. Siliwangi more than half lasted the century of our country's independence, but enjoyed by Indonesia, the struggle from Sabang to Merauke.
As the oasis of the new
The
age.
soul in the hand, in this independent here not is development for a gift. Siliwangi more than half lasted the century of our country's independence, but enjoyed by Indonesia, the struggle from
Since
Sabang to
its
Merauke.
established in 1978, in harmony with the ideals of the founders, Siliwangi University, as the biggest private university in the East Priang, is committed to developing educated and diverted students to embrace the bright future of the nation, in harmony with the ideals of the founders. Of the Siliwangi University is committed to answering the global challenges.
Kalau ibunya masih sehat?
Located in the center of the city of Tasikmalaya,
Diganti nama di sini di
Siliwangi University has created a beautiful and friendly campus area that makes the study atmosphere conducive and enjoyable. Moreover, we are equipped with quality, friendly lecturers who are committed to friendly, fast, and efficient services. As a reputable state university with its achievements in the East Priangan, Siliwangi University has become a place for teaching and learning for students who come from all over Indonesia. Currently, thousands of students obtaining scholarship from various institutions, government or private, are enjoying their studies with us that upholds the values of Pancasila and diversity. Siliwangi University has 7 faculties and 5 postgraduate programs. Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, Faculty of Economics, Faculty of Agriculture, Faculty of Engineering, Faculty of Health Sciences, Faculty of Social and Political Science, Faculty of Islamic Religion, postgraduate programs. 385 experienced and active lecturers are doing research in science, technology, social, and culture. Siliwangi University is ready to provide quality education in the field of science, technology, social, and culture. Siliwangi University is ready to provide a quality and competitive education for global challenges, facilitating students to become quality graduates for the nation. To support the competency and skills of the students, Siliwangi University provides adequate facilities, like laboratories with modern and advanced equipment, sport, arts, and entrepreneurship, on a lot of land around 30 hectares, a cool location in the middle of a green rural area. There is Siliwangi University Campus 2 expansion. To provide quality services, Siliwangi University provides several buses for the students and lecturers round trips. God the Almighty has a lot of secrets. In the silent universe, science is the key to unlocking the potential. Only with science, what was previously impossible can be possible.
Dear future, it is us. Welcome to Siliwangi University.
So alive. If working,
Good afternoon, my brother David, my sisters, Dr. Ania.
Yes, hello.
Wow. Hello, everyone.
Nice to see you here again. Thank you for your support and also from my brother, Mr. David. Nice to see you here.
Well, I was asked to speak, and I never turned down an engagement to help share equal opportunity in education.
Oh,
So,
I see.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Siliwangi University exists as the oasis of the new age.
More than half of the century of our country's independence enjoyed by the nation, from Sabang to Merauke, from the north to the south. This independence not is recovery or a gift, but said it's blessed of our heroes. But it doesn't mean the struggle ends. Today, in the hands of educated youth, the battle continues, and Siliwangi University is here to become the place of the best of educated students who are strong, superior, and fearless. Those are ready to embrace the development of time.
Since its establishment in 1978, in harmony with the ideals of the founders, Siliwangi University, as the biggest private university in the East Priangan, is committed to developing educated and versed students to embrace the bright future of the nation. Then, until the signing of the decree of Siliwangi University status to be State University by President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono on 1 April 2014. That spirit never fades. Siliwangi University is committed to answering the global challenges. Located in the center of the city of Tasikmalaya with its cool air, Siliwangi University has created a beautiful and friendly campus area that makes the study atmosphere conducive and enjoyable. Moreover, we are equipped with quality, friendly lecturers who are committed to friendly, fast, and efficient services. As a reputable state university with its achievements in the East Priangan, Siliwangi University has become a place for teaching and learning for students who come from all over Indonesia. Currently, thousands of students obtaining scholarship from various institutions, government or private, are enjoying their studies with us that upholds the values of Pancasila and diversity. Siliwangi University has 7 faculties and 5 postgraduate programs. Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, Faculty of Economics, Faculty of Agriculture, Faculty of Engineering, Faculty of Health Sciences, Faculty of Social and Political Science, Faculty of Islamic Religion, postgraduate programs. 385 experienced and active lecturers are doing research in science, technology, social, and culture. Siliwangi University is ready to provide quality education in the field of science, technology, social, and culture. Siliwangi University is ready to provide a quality and competitive education for global challenges, facilitating students to become quality graduates for the nation. To support the competency and skills of the students, Siliwangi University provides adequate facilities like laboratories with modern and advanced equipment, sport, arts, and entrepreneurship on a lot of land around 30 hectares, a cool location in the middle of a green rural area. There is Siliwangi University Campus 2 expansion. To provide quality services, Siliwangi University provides several buses for the students and lecturers round trips. God the Almighty has a lot of secrets. In the silent universe, science is the key to unlocking the potential. Only with science, what was previously impossible can be possible.
Dear future, it is us. Welcome to Siliwangi University.
Alright, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Mega Virtual International Conference 2021. And as the announcement and as the information that the opening ceremony of the Mega Virtual International Conference 2021 will be started. For ladies and gentlemen, you can maybe turn on your camera, and for all the participants, you can listen into the materials of in this conference. And as the information that in this conference we have many keynote speakers that come from some countries, different countries around the world. And of course, the keynote speaker is very great speaker. So for all the participants, you can maybe share the link of this Zoom meeting into your friends, into your family, and invite them to join this Zoom meeting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the opening ceremony of the Mega Virtual International Conference 2021 will be started. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The Honorable Rector of Siliwangi University, Professor Dr. Haji Rudi Riyadi, the Honorable the Chairman of Patola Palalo Foundation, the President of Indonesian Education Share to Care Volunteers, Rector of IAIN Madura, Rector of IAIN Loksemawe, Rector of University of Al-Asyariah Mandar, Rector of Muhammadiyah University of Sidenreng Rapang, and the Head of STIBA Darul Ulum Banyu Anyar, Pamekasan. The Honorable Head of Center for Cooperation of Siliwangi University, Mrs. Santiana SSMPD, the Honorable all the keynote speakers from any countries, and all the participants, ladies and gentlemen. Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin, we could gather here in the Mega Virtual International Conference 2021 with the theme Multidisciplinary Hybrid Learning and Achieving Sustainable Development, that in this time is hosted by Siliwangi University, 26th December 2021 in Zoom meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the agenda. First, opening. Second, singing national anthem Indonesia Raya. Third, hymn of Siliwangi University. Fourth, march of Siliwangi University. Fifth, speech of President of IES2C volunteer. Sixth, report of Head of Center for Cooperation of Siliwangi University. Seventh, welcoming speech of Rector of Siliwangi University. And the last, closing. Ladies and gentlemen, as opening in this ceremony, let's recite Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Singing national anthem Indonesia Raya. Ladies and gentlemen are pleased to mind your position. Next agenda, hymn of Siliwangi University.
insan berbudi, harapan jaya sepanjang masa bagimu negeriku Indonesia.
Next, Mars of Siliwangi University.
Derap semangat bergelora, berkibar panji kejayaan, genapkan juang, bersiap sedia, tetaplah di depan, atasi kebodohan, cerdaskan bangsa Indonesia, sejahtera kita semuanya, kuatkan tekad, bijak bermartabat, negara merdeka kan tetap kita jaga. Abdi bakti bagi pertiwi, karya juangku sepanjang hayat. Universitas Siliwangi takkan lelah, takkan pernah menyerah.
Next agenda is speech of Presidents of IES2C volunteer for Dr. Abdul Ghafur MPD, please.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon from Indonesia. Honorable Rector of Siliwangi University, East of Java, Professor Dr. Insinyur Rudi Priyadi MTas. Honorable Rector of IAIN Madura, Honorable Rector of IAIN Loksmawe Aceh, Honorable Rector of IAIN Loksmawe Aceh, Honorable Rector, Honorable Principal, Honorable Rector of Al-Ansariyah University of Mandar, West Sulawesi, Honorable Founder of Patola Palalu Foundations, Honorable Directors, Principal, Founders of all our global partners from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Iraq, Egypt, Mexico, Philippines, Australia, UK, and other all over the world. Honorable all resource persons, all keynote speakers from all over the world. My deepest gratitude to the Rector of supporting us. My deepest gratitude to the Rectors of Siliwangi University for supporting our event, namely Mega Virtual Conference, with a theme multidisciplinary hybrid learning in achieving sustainable development goal, or SDGs, that held for 6 days from 20 December up to 27 December 2021. It is such an honor for us, Indonesian shareholders volunteers, to hold this conference with more than 60 keynote speakers and resource persons. For the keynote speakers from all over the world and certain presenters from Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, and all the participants of the conference, Alhamdulillah, praise over the blessing of God Almighty, because in these days, we can gather in the Zoom platform of Siliwangi University, West of Java, Indonesia, to hold a wonderful conference. Prayers and greeting may remain expressed to the Lord for the success of the conference, in which for this afternoon, let me say thanks to our keynote speakers, Dr. Gul Erkol from Turkey, Mr. David Prodin from Thailand, Dr. Tahani Alteri from United Arab Emirates, Dr. Lania Lampo from Greece, Dr. Dilter Belderas from Mexico, Dr. Coates from California, Dr. Daniela Cromira, PhD, Dr. Prince Dan Maibekci from Nigeria, and also Professor Dr. Deden Mulyana SCMSC from University of Siliwangi, for sparing their time and knowledge for us, for education, for all the world. And special thanks to my team, Indonesian Share to Care volunteers, Dr. Andi Astrivans, the founder of Patola Palalu Foundations, Dr. Mutmaina as country directors, Dr. Abdul Wafi, Dr. Nurul Fadilah, Almira, Trina Dila, and Ms. Santiana from Siliwangi University. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, in academic culture, this event going to have great contribution for the people of the world and for all the experts to share and care about the sustainable development goals as the United Nations goal to keep mankind in good order. Hopefully, this conference running well and success. Thanks for your attention. Good afternoon. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, thank you, Dr. Abdul Ghafur, MPD, for your speech. And next, report of Head of Center for Cooperation of Siliwangi University, Mrs. Santiana SS, MPD, please.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Rectors of Siliwangi University, Professor Dr. Haji Rudi Priadi, RMS, distinguished partner, the chairmen of Patala Palala Foundation, the presidents of Indonesian Education Shared Together Frontiers, rectors of EIN Madura, rectors of EIN Loksmawe, rectors of University of Asia Mandar, rectors of Muhammadiyah University Subsidian Reklampang, and head of STIBA Darul Umum Banyu Amat Pamekasan. 47 keynote speakers from 47 different countries, 47 respected delegates and participants, and dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Sampurasun. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Salam Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Good afternoon from Indonesia. All praises is due to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us guidance, happiness, healthy, blessing, and mercy, so we can attend and participate in this the mega virtual international conference 2021 without any trouble and obstacle. Praise and salutation upon our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the last messengers, the best figures of the universe. On behalf of the organizing committee of the mega virtual international conference 2021, Siliwangi University held this event in collaboration with Patala Palala Foundation, Indonesian Education Shared Together Frontiers, State Islamic Institute of Madura, EIN Madura, State Islamic Institute of Loksmawe, EIN Loksmawe, Universities of Al-Azhar Mandar, Muhammadiyah University of Sindan Ringlapak, STIBA Darul Banyu Anyar, and all our international partners around the world. I would like to express my sincere gratitude for your presence on this 5th days of the Mega Virtual International Conference 2021, with the theme Multidisciplinary Hybrid Learning and Achieving Sustainable Development. Ladies and gentlemen, this activities is an implementation of the collaboration that has been carried out by Siliwangi University with various domestic and also international partners. It is our pride and honor to invite 47 keynote speakers from 47 different countries. And today, we have 9 keynote speakers who will share knowledge with us. They are Dr. Gul Ekram Bayram from Turkey, David Rodin from Thailand, Dr. Hol R. Terry from United Emirates Arab, Dr. Raina Lampo from Greece, Dr. Dieter Bandelas from Mexico, Dr. Bob Koh from California, Daniela Lacramiora from Luxembourg, Dr. Fins from Nigeria, and we also have Professor Dr. Haji Deden Mulyana, SAMSE, as the representative of Siliwangi University, Indonesia. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the participants of this event consist of lecturers, students, and anyone around the world who has an interest in multidisciplinary hybrid learning and achieving sustainable development. Hopefully, this event can pave the way for the implementation of other collaboration so that they can support acceleration in the fields of education, knowledge, and the achievements of mutually agreed performance indicators. Ladies and gentlemen, all in all, on behalf of the organizing committee of the Mega Virtual International Conference 2021, we would like to express our apology for the inconvenience that you will be probably experienced during the virtual conference. I wish you a fruitful and wonderful conference. Finally, allow me to invite Professor Dr. Haji Rudi Priadi, Insinyur MS, as the Rectors of Siliwangi University, to officially open the 5th days of the Mega Virtual International Conference 2021. Enjoy the conference. Hatur nuhun. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Santiana, for the report. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcoming speech from the Rector of Siliwangi University, as well as officially open the Mega Virtual International Conference 2021, Day 5, that hosted by Siliwangi University. The Honorable Professor Dr. Haji Rudi Priadi RMS, please.
Distinguished partner, the chairman of Fatola Palala Foundation, the president of Indonesian Education Share to Care Volunteers, rector of IAIN Madura, rector of IAIN Laksmawe, rector of University of Al-Syariah Mandar, rector of Muhammadiyah University of Sendereng Rafang, and the head of Stiba Darul Ulum Banyuanyar Pamekasan. 47 keynote speakers from 47 different countries, respected delegate and participant, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Sampurasun. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I do like to express my deepest gratitude to the Almighty Allah SWT for His constant blessing and grace in our lives. My salutation is to Prophet Muhammad SAW for his guidance in our daily lives. I am Rudi Priadi, Director of Siliwangi University. On behalf of Siliwangi University, I would like to thank you for coming to this Mega Virtual International Conference 2021. This involves 47 speakers from 47 different countries. Event is especially precious for Siliwangi University because we were able to hold this international conference in collaboration with several university partners, such as Fatola Palala Foundation, Indonesian Education Share to Care Volunteers, IAIN Madura, IAIN Laksmawe, University of Al-Syariah Mandar, Muhammadiyah University of Sendereng Rafang, Stiba Darul Ulum Banyuanyar Pamekasan, and all our international partners around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope this program can support university activities to achieve University Performance Indicator (ICU) that will later be able to boost the ranking of each university. Believe with collaboration, it is hope the acceleration of information in various scientific fields can be achieved rapidly, and this meeting is the best way to learn from each other. Furthermore, this collaboration can be carried out in the future with a wider scope, and Siliwangi University is ready to cooperate with any university that is interested in collaborating with us, because this is an absolute thing to do, and we can get to support each other. Ladies and gentlemen, this conference however would not be possible without the help of many. Therefore, allow me to express my sincerest gratitude to the representative of the committee from its intercession. To end my speech by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I officially open Day 5, Mega Virtual International Conference 2021. I wish all the keynote speaker and participant would enjoy the conference. Amin. Thank you very much. Atur nuhun.
By saying Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim, the Mega Virtual International Conference 2021 Day 5 has already officially opened by the rector of Siliwangi University. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the opening ceremony of the Mega Virtual International Conference 2021 with the theme Multidisciplinary Hybrid Learning and Achieving Sustainable Development has finished. I am ICT Mardia as the Master of Ceremony. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Here we present the traditional Shong Siliwangi University choirs.
Hãy subscribe cho kênh Ghiền Mì Gõ để không bỏ lỡ
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am as the master of ceremony. I would like to say again, welcome to the Mega Virtual International Conference 2021, Day 5, that hosted by Siliwangi University. Next agenda, we will go into the keynote speaker session. As your for your information, that in the Mega Virtual International Conference 2021, Day 5, that hosted by Siliwangi University, we have 9 keynote speakers from different countries. And then in this time, the keynote speaker will be accompanied by the fabulous moderator, Mrs. Arini Nurul Hidayati MPD. For Mrs. Arini, time is yours.
Okay, thanks to Master of Ceremony for the opportunity. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone from Indonesia. My name is Arini Nurul Hidayati and will become the moderator of the session. The session comprises presentation and Q&A session. But this is going to be a very quick presentation because each of the presenter will only have about 15 minutes for delivering the materials, and will be followed up with another 5 minutes Q&A session afterwards. So we are very privileged to have 9 excellent speakers from 9 diverse countries and states. And without any further ado, let's welcome our first speaker. Better to greet her. Firstly, good afternoon, Dr. Gul Erkol Bayram. I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name. Is that correct?
Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullahi, dear Miss Arini.
Yes.
And all speakers and all participants. Firstly, I would like to express my gratitude for inviting me such a prominent event as usual from Indonesia. Greetings and warm regards from Turkey. If you give me permission, I would like to start my presentation.
Indeed, yeah, that's excellent. You may start. 15 minutes for you. Dr. Bayram, please.
Do you see clearly my presentation?
Yes, pretty clear.
Okay. Yes, I am Associate Professor, Department of Tour Guiding in Turkey. Firstly, we can start with tourism and related with human behaviors, because my topics is, again, I would like to, we need a 4th generation of rights for a better tourism industries. As a social creature, humans are the subject of concepts such as technology, culture, art, public and private sector, production and consumption. If they are managed correctly and in a qualified way, people contribute to the business, region, and country, and they play a serious role in the progress of the economy, I think. Human resources refer to the one of the most fundamental elements that organizations use to produce a product. Human resources which have essential place in the production process are precious in many countries. If we well behave them, I think we can success for the sustainable development goals and for our features. Today, many countries see human resources as one of the most valuable resources of both public bodies and private enterprises. Employees who previously only fulfill a defined job description are now involved in working life as individuals who recognize problems in advance. or produce solutions and etc. However, the rapid technology and inevitable destruction of nature, culture, and the universe have caused some depletion of the quality of human resources. Furthermore, the current problems of human resources will affect the future, and if this situation continue, there will not be a healthy ecosystem, a peaceful environment, a world dominated by concepts such as prosperity, justice, and security. For people who are important sources of tourism, for generation of rights refer to the concepts such as livable cities, unspoiled culture, natural environment, a peaceful ecosystem, a qualified work environment, favorable working conditions, fair managers, a fair balance of wages, free and reliable administration, government structure, and etc. New production sites have brought the need for more workforce in different branches. Human resources following in Industry 4.0 process will be needed. Employee who can establish and interpret a relationship between virtual and real life can plan consumer needs will be sought. The concepts of mobility and talent management will be the main focus of human resources and also education types, because if we manage the education related with for generation rights or Industry 4.0, we can mainly contribute to future rights, and we can mainly contribute to sustainable future. So it is so important to think about and more make related researches. In Industry 4.0, it is foreseen that human resources will be less needed in future, unfortunately. However, human resources improve with Industry 4.0 will be more equipped, more proactive, and more efficient, and will be have a say in the production process. On one of the most important effects of the 4.0 is that it will require individuals to learn continuously, reading, learning, wandering thus lead to information or formation of the rise of the machinery and reduce communication are among the negative aspects of Industry 4.0. But in both cases, Industry 4.0 needs to be deal with minimum damage and maximum benefits of the human resources, I think. We can mainly human resources management in the tourism industry with external factors and internal factors. And also human rights is mainly, maybe as everybody knows, divided into 3 parts. But in the future, we can should add 4 rights, 4 generation of rights. First generation of rights, as you see on the screen, related as initial rights, include concepts such as freedom of person or political rights. The second generation of rights mean that all people, whether they are rich or poor, have the same rights. Second generation rights includes rights such as to work or to trade union, the right to strike or collective bargaining, the right social security, the right free education and training, maybe can include in the second generation of rights. The third generation of rights, a concept that was introduced after Second World War, has a different structure than the first and second generation of rights. This refers a humanist social structure and enables to participate all management. And the fourth generation of rights have been put forward to prevent the risk posed by science and technology revealed in the 20th and 21 centuries on human dignity. It covers issues as ecosystem, future generations, and cities. It is possible to explain this right to the right of ecosystem, the right of future generation, and the right of the city. And maybe in the tourism sector, the right of the fourth generation of rights mainly focus on human labors. The development of tourism industry does not only contribute to economic, cultural, or social development at the national level, but also provides large-scale employment opportunities or strength to the local economy at a noticeable level. This situation leads to involvement of different people or groups in the tourism sector. Furthermore, the employment structure of the tourism sector has problems, for example, seasonality, low rates of unionization, untrained or unqualified employees, and many more I can say. Human rights are the most basic principles, standards to protect the dignity, quality, and freedom of people. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights consists of 30 fundamental rights. And human rights provide the basis for some necessary issues, such as how employees should be treated, some disadvantaged peoples in the tourism industry, and lack of social security and excessive working hours, I think. And now, the rise of the future generations mentioned in the fourth generation of human rights closely related to concept of sustainable tourism. All human has the right to ecosystem and the cities, and the fourth human rights revolution disrupt the traditional structure and forces many business, including tourism industry, to either innovative or perish, I think. And also, maybe even though security problems are tried to be solved, data collecting is the major problem, because it seems possible to analyze, evaluate, and even manipulate human behavior in this way. Artificial intelligence not only understands whether people are happy or sad, but also strategically affects people's emotions. One of the most significant implications of this, that a robot that predicts customer satisfaction, which is essential in the tourism sector, and makes the requirements related to it will be used in the tourism industry. And the tourism industry will prefer robots to reduce access cost. Another issue is the use of human resources for bad purposes and the use of human labor and power in violation of human rights. Industry 4.0 is expected to be very useful when used for good purposes and good ideas. However, if bad individuals has such a power and they want to copy the data of a generation, if they do this legally with the permission of the state, we may face unpredictable situations. On the positive sides, it can be seen that with the digitalization, human rights can lead to rapid development of some countries, enable to transition from the pre-industry to post-industry, and crowded countries can develop with the technology needed and have more for living conditions. It is necessary to take considerations the negative aspects, especially in countries with a high population density. The dense population may become an obligation rather than an asset for developing industries with automatic factories or 3D printing techniques. In some advanced technologies, drones will be able to monitor employees. In developing countries with weak security standards or data collection, tourism workers may be exposed to cybersecurity threats, misuse of determined by the laws of the countries. However, the solution of this problem does not seem possible for developing countries because there is no legal legislation to protect the rights of employees in these countries. So, states can easily access and use the data of employees. In today's world, international consequences of advanced technology are problems such as hunger, poverty, or so on. And lastly, I would like to ask all participants, how can we protect privacy in a world of smartphones, interactive speakers, or activity followers? Thank you for your attention.
Oh, right. Such an excellent presentation from you, Dr. Byram. Thank you so much for showing us a very beneficial knowledge, of course. And ladies and gentlemen, it sounds like you are not in a good condition. Thank you so much for making such a great effort. Yeah, hopefully you get well soon, Dr. Byram. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite the participants, anyone who is interested to question to Dr. Byram is pleased to drop the questions in the chat box, or you can raise your hand. Yeah, simply press the button of raising hand feature on your Zoom, and I will let you unmute your microphone. Okay, I haven't got any questions yet in the chat box. And for the next sessions, the next presenters, the similar regulation also can be applied. So anyone who is interested, you may drop your questions in the chat box. But if you would like to talk directly to the speaker, you are also pleased. Okay, it seems like your explanation is pretty clear, Dr. Byram. So once again, thank you very much. And I would like to move on to the next presenter. Here we have the representative from Thailand, Mr. David Paradin. Are you ready, Mr. Paradin?
Of course, always ready.
Oh, wow, excellent. Well, 15 minutes for you from now, please.
Yeah, of course. And of course, you know, being American, I have to be extremely time conscious. So I set my timer. Okay, here we go. I will share my screen. Now, I would like for everyone to know just right off the bat, whatever I will present today is based on empirical studies. Okay, I tend to not speak about my opinions or my beliefs or my faith because it lacks credence, it lacks support. So every time I present, my presentations are always based on extensive empirical studies. Not from me, but sometimes from my studies, but from those who are well recognized in the field. So I thought since all of these wonderful, just amazing speakers are speaking on very, very advanced topics, I thought I would keep it a little simple. And, you know, I have done, I don't know, hundreds of these type of presentations, and I found that simple works better. Now, this wonderful conference, I mean, this is a 6-day conference, and to pull off a 6-day conference, you have to be superhuman. So to all the moderators, to all the facilitators, my goodness, I don't know how you do it. I'm just so proud of you. I could not do it. Let's say that. Now, I'm very passionate about education. Having been an educator for, well, longer than what I care to admit, I find that even questioning whether a girl should be educated or whether a person of color should be educated, even questioning these marginalized groups of people just blows my mind. What difference does it make whether you are brown, black, white, green, purple, male, female, whatever gender you identify with? It should not matter. But sadly, it does. It really does. Because some people are driven by opinion, belief, or faith. And I strongly support the, number 4, quality education. Ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Every time I do a presentation where I get the opportunity to promote education for everyone, it really drives me, because I love the word all. All means everyone. It means everyone, regardless of socioeconomic stance, regardless of gender, regardless of sex, regardless, it just means all. And I find that when I look at empirical studies have shown, they really have shown a strong correlation between high levels of opinion, faith, and belief and poor critical thinking skills. So when someone says, oh, I don't think a girl should be educated. Well, if we want to translate poor critical thinking skills, well, let me put it in other words. Analytical thinking, critical thinking, logical thinking decreases unsupported opinions, beliefs, and faith, and may very well undermine the often innate support for such unsubstantiated irrationalities. Okay, in simple words, in just very, very simple words, when someone takes a stance that, well, this person should not be educated because of, you know, I automatically, and I do not use this word very often, but in this case, it is appropriate. When someone says, well, that person's brown, or that person is another nationality, or that person is another sex, and they should not receive the benefits of education, I automatically think that they are an idiot. I really do. Because when someone is denied the ability to make their life better just because of some abstract construct, you know, it infuriates me. So I really believe, no, I don't want to say I believe, let's say research shows, it does, that multidisciplinary learning helps promote critical thinking, helps promote analytical thinking. And it's so simple. Multidisciplinary, exposing learners to disciplines far beyond their own. Like, example, because applied linguistics or teacher training, this type of education is my forte. That's what I lean towards. I currently teach academic reading and academic writing for master's level and PhD level students. And at the same time, I have numerous assignments around the world for training teachers and discussing critical thinking and analytical thinking and how to promote critical thinking in societies and just on and on and on. And I teach, I train, I expose everyone to the idea of multidisciplinary education. And it's simple. It's very simple. I have an opportunity to work with a Bachelor of Arts program in TESOL, in TEFL, teaching English as a foreign language, in English language teaching, in all of these acronyms, they're roughly the same idea, teaching English to speakers who do not normally speak English, okay? Now, if I only learned in my one discipline, if I only learn my one thing, then when someone wants to learn English about, I don't know, some sort of math subject or science subject or business subject, I would be ignorant of their needs. So when I have an opportunity to learn subjects or learn just anything, even have a special guest lecturer in one class, if I am able to learn or to be exposed to other disciplines, it helps me. It helps me create a well-rounded understanding of my subject matter. You know, I'm called on to do training in just about any subject matter you can imagine. I mean, really. Some of the subject matter I have no knowledge, so I have to spend a couple of weeks just digesting as much as I can, just to have a basic knowledge of the subject to promote how to use English in that subject. Now, that does not make me a professional. That does not make me an expert. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying a well-rounded understanding. It's much better. It's much better if we have more knowledge and more understanding and we don't need it than to really need something and we don't have it. So now the multidisciplinary approach is quite simple. It is. I mean, it's just quite simple. And it starts with a curriculum from a university or a high school that promotes such learning. And it's so simple. I'm wondering why more universities are not implementing multidisciplinary curriculums. Look, they have the staff, they have the teaching hours, and oftentimes universities are creating useless subjects, pointless subjects in their discipline just to make up the teaching hours. Well, why not just collaborate among departments and faculties and help our learners have the best well-rounded curriculum? So let's look at holistic understanding. It's easy. A holistic understanding of the world is a greater understanding, a multidisciplinary, multicultural, multi-language, just everything, whatever prefix you want to add to the word. It just means you have a better understanding. And if we can promote critical thinking and analytical thinking, then we are less dependent on our opinions, on our beliefs and our faiths. And that gives us a much wider understanding. Just as a quick side note, yesterday was Christmas for most let's say predominantly Christian countries, okay? And I live in Thailand. Thailand is a Buddhist country. And so, I'm not real big into celebrating any other holidays because I'm sort of alone. But my wife and her family, Buddhist, Thai, they put together this huge Christmas party just to make me feel comfortable. And I thought, what a holistic understanding of the world. Just because they are not, fill in the blank. They did something to make me feel comfortable. And I have Buddhist friends, I have Muslim friends. I have friends who just celebrate every major world religion. They contacted me yesterday and they said, oh, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, something just to show support. And that is a holistic, open-minded, critical thinking abilities that we need. And we need different perspectives. Just because, fill in the blank, just because I'm Christian, that means I can't go to this or I can't do that. Or just because I only know about this, I can't do this. Oh my goodness, how foolish are we? The world is a big place and we have 8 billion people. And if we want to promote multidisciplinary learning and critical thinking and holistic education, and if we want to promote international, just whatever, international business, international commerce, if we want a country with 300 million people like the US to be even more prosperous, then we need to adapt and adopt, and we need to have different perspectives. And it just simply opens the door for everyone to have greater understanding and greater knowledge and more beautiful relationships. And we need real world approaches, and multidisciplinary learning it seats this real world understanding, and it really helps us. It really helps us to collaborate with colleagues from across different disciplines, different ethnicities, different nationalities, and different languages. And it helps us become a globalized professional and to join in that globalized professional world. Like, okay, right now I'm speaking in an Indonesian conference. Oh, I love Indonesian people. I have been to Indonesia more times than I can count. I have traveled across most of the 12,000 something islands. I've been all over the Sumatra, West Sumatra, East Sumatra, North, South. I've been all over Kalimantan. I've been all over Jakarta and Bogor and Aceh and Padang. Oh, by the way, I really like Padang food. So the next time I go, if any of you are from that area, remember me. So yeah, okay, a little plus for Padang food, because I like to eat with my right hand. Yeah, my right hand, we know left hand is for chocolate, right hand is for eating. Okay, we know what chocolate we're talking about, yeah? So now, and all of these multidisciplinary approaches and, and this understanding of other cultures, it helps us be collaborative, and it builds collaboration skills. It does, and it helps students learn vocabulary and thought processes and critical thinking and understand all these topics. And it makes students more valuable. Okay, I know I have 1 minute. I know you're starting to sweat. I have 1 minute. So it makes students more valuable. And it helps to decrease the need for these unsubstantiated opinions and our beliefs, because our beliefs change, and it helps us understand other faiths, that our faith is not the only right, correct, best faith. And it helps us relate, and it helps us create, and it helps us thrive. And hey, if people thrive, guess what? We send money back to our country, and our country thrives. So there you go. Blend disciplines, blend subjects, help people grow. Okay, that's it. There you go. Exactly 15 minutes on the dot. So thank you. And now we have five minutes for people to say, hey, why did you say that? So, okay, there you go.
Right. A very inspiring presentation from you, Mr. Paradine, since we also have similar backgrounds. Yeah, I also teach
Yes.
TEFL, yeah. All right. So anyone who is interested to give question to Mr. Paradine, feel free to raise your hand or to drop a question on the chat box. If no one is asking, then is it okay if I ask you?
Yeah, sure, whatever you want.
All right. So, well, actually, talking about the multidisciplinary approach that you mentioned earlier, I kind of familiar with another term, namely CLIL or Content Language Integrated Learning. Is there any correlation with those two approaches? Can you give an explanation?
Oh, wow. Very good. Yeah. Well, one supports the other. Multidisciplinary is just sort of the umbrella. That's all. And every discipline, every field has their own pedagogy to help reach that multidisciplinary stance, if you want to call it, or that position. So yeah.
Okay, so in short, we can say that CLIL is kind of the method, the techniques to implement the multidisciplinary pedagogy. All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the answer.
Yes.
All right, the other participants, and maybe you still have questions to Mr. Paradin. Yes, we have 5 minutes. You may raise your hand or the questions on the chat box. All right. Okay, just feel free. That's okay. You can also visit Mr. Paradin's Facebook page here. He shared with us the link. Yeah, feel free to discuss further about what he just explained to us. Okay, it seems that your explanation is pretty clear, Mr. Paradin, so no one is asking then. Once again, thank you very much for your presentation. Hopefully, we can meet again in different occasion. And I would like to invite the next presenter from United Arab Emirates, Dr. Tahani Al-Peri. Okay, let's check whether she is with us already. Okay, hello, Dr. Al-Peri. It seems like she's not here yet. So we would like to move on to the next presenter from Greece. Well, very far away. Dr. Rania Lampo. Hello, Dr. Lampo. Are you ready to present?
Yes. Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning and good afternoon from Greece, all of you. Many, many congrats for the organization of this huge event with brilliant speakers from all around the world. Every time I am in Indonesia, I'm very get emotional. So many good friends. I want to thank Dr. Mutmaina for her kind invitation. And today I'm going to explore, actually I'm a global STEM educator. I'm going to explore environmental awareness and environmental education and how this can be combined with STEM education and what we call environmental STEM. And also how this can serve the goal of global citizenship within the framework of the 2030 agenda. So can I share now my presentation?
Sure.
Stuck, my computer has stuck. Okay. Now it's fine. Can you see now my presentation?
Yes.
Okay, the 2030 Agenda considers education as a key strategy to accomplish important environmental goals, because education must answer the environmental issues, defining specific teaching programs to empower people and students, and schools have to establish new educational projects to create an essential context to incorporate sustainable development goals in its governance. So school as an institution devoted to knowledge creation and spreading teaching has an undeniable prominence in the spreading and application of possible solutions and alternatives to social and environmental issues that currently society is facing. The experiences and the learning of the educational community are vital to reach a change towards sustainability culture, because sustainable development education contributes to developing competencies in sustainability among students, such as critical thinking, as Dr. David has already mentioned, creative thinking, problem solving, strategies, capacity to act, collaboration, systemic thinking. So these students will be potential change actors with the ability to shape a more sustainable society. And this agenda actually has the dimension, what we call multidimensionality. That means that environmental, social, and economic sustainability are directly linked. They should be handled at the same time. And transnationality, that means that sustainable development faces transborder obstacles and has effects that require tackle at different levels of government. And why this important is important for global citizenship, because this concept refers to a level of citizenship that brings diverse people together in the communal concern and responsibility to resolve shared problems. So teaching global citizenship can lead to increased cultural diversity, increased interconnectedness, and increased interdependence. It's actually the act of becoming aware and trying to resolve communal issues and be, of course, engaged. You know that already nowadays we're facing more environmental complications and problems such as climate change, global warming, pollution, deforestation, etc. So understanding of all these problems evidences that we're not only facing environmental deterioration, it's far beyond than this. Because there has been a wide general change because of human action, which has a direct and exponential effect on the planet. And this is why people have begun to take part and declare a change of attitudes towards the environment and sustainability. And what is the role of university there? The role, university is a key participant in the promotion of sustainable human development. And we all know the Conference of Rectors of Spanish Universities declared in May 2018 they firmed then the support to Agenda 2030 and held the Spanish plan of action to implement the agenda. So in March 2019, the Crew Commission for Agenda was created to coordinate all joint actions for the achievement of objectives and to raise awareness among the university community. So universities share a key role in the implementation of SDGs through the wide variety of educational and learning activities such as graduate, postgraduate studies, or professional training, or older adults teaching, etc. And of course, research, because creating and spreading knowledge through research and innovation must provide solutions to challenges and problems of the present world. And to do so, cross-sectional contexts and networks are necessary, both in universities and other higher education institutions, research centers, or other society organizations, national and international. And of course, we're talking about knowledge transference to society, because we need a connection between society and university, and the progress and welfare of society depends on this link. That is the reason why dialogue and cooperation are so important to reach solution for the most urgent problems of humanity. So the university institution has responsibility and essential mission to give knowledge, innovation, and results of research back to society, as well as training people with critical awareness and commitment to the principles and values of sustainable development. And what are the 4 pillars of sustainability? We're talking about human sustainability first. Why? Because this encompasses the development of skills and human capacity to support the functions and sustainability of organization to promote the well-being of communities and society. We're talking about economic sustainability that aims to maintain the capital intact. So if social sustainability focuses on improving social equality, economic sustainability aims to improve the standard of living. Social sustainability, because this incorporates the idea of sustainable development, the principles of this addresses social and economic improvement that protects the environment and supports equality. Therefore, the economy, society, the ecological system are mutually dependent. And of course, environmental sustainability, because place emphasis on how business, for instance, can achieve positive economic outcomes without doing any harm in the short or long term to the environment. So environmental education now, this coincides with what we call education for sustainable development. So environmental education must make students know the reality and its connection with nature But of course, they cannot forget the problems attached to this connection. And if we focus on the conceptual aspect of knowledge about the environment, the students should identify the environment usually as the natural environment affecting our way of life, if influenced our culture. They think sustainable development that is a part of the environmental protection process. And actually, they feel that this is a topic that helps them to understand the environment and our connection with it, accepting it as a resource to achieve sustainable development. And among what are the benefits of this, of the environmental education? First of all, we talk about biophobia. Biophobia and nature deficit disorder decline as students are exposed to nature, because environmental education fosters sensitivity, appreciation, respect for the environment. It combats, as I said before, nature deficit disorder. It's engaging. It helps address some of the health issues that we're seeing in children today, such as obesity, etc., depression, attention problems. And of course, it promotes a sense of place and a connection through community involvement. When students decide to learn more or to take action to improve the environment, they reach out to community experts, to donors, to volunteers, to local services. And in this way, we have also development of what we call service learning or volunteerism. So environmental education helps students understand how their decisions and actions affect the environment, how they can learn to build knowledge and skills necessary to address complex issues, to take action. And service programs, learning problems also are very, very important. So in this way, environmental education actually promotes active learning, citizenship, student leadership, provides students and teachers with support through grants and other resources for action programs. A very important chapter in environmental education is, of course, what we all know about the green energy, which actually comes from natural sources, etc. And these energy resources are renewable. Another also part is biomass, organic material originated from plants, animals, etc. And another controversial issue that I only will mention this, it's about thorium. Many scientists promote now thorium as a green and clear energy fuel, because thorium nuclear reactions do not produce atoms heavier than uranium 238 that are the main health concern in nuclear waste. So nuclear energy plants actually, according to some experts, that utilize thorium are not considered to be against the principles of green energy. So sustainability now, it's an important factor because it ensures that future generations have the same amount of well-being. And it's very important to place emphasis on efficiency and prevention of waste of resource. So we're talking about a new techno-economic and social paradigm. And what is actually sustainability? Sustainability is a development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. And here we can see that what is happening with businesses, with companies, developing for some companies, developing So, can you hear me now?
Yes, sorry
yes,
for the inconvenience.
Okay. So, although there is no alternative to sustainability, companies think that sustainability will compromise their competitiveness and will not deliver immediate financial benefits. So, you can understand that developing green products sometimes to companies seems like a disadvantage that is against their competitors, etc. So, becoming sustainable is treated usually as a burden, as an impediment for the company objectives. And this is not true, because becoming environmentally friendly lower costs, increases profits, because green projects are better quality projects, as part companies consider sustainability as a source of innovation. And this gives a competitive advantage, gives impetus to development. So why this innovation is combined with STEM education, which is actually the STEM, as I always say, education is a way to secure a strong economy and capable workers. And STEM projects always focus on inquiry, student-led investigation through open-ended real-life problems and hands-on activities, empower students to become out-of-the-box thinkers and creators. STEM education reflects the four C's, as we call, of 21st century skills: creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, communication. And these are the characteristics of STEM-educated students: that problem solvers, innovators, inventors, self-reliant, technologically literate. STEM learning should be a lifelong process. New technologies should define the content of our curriculum, and learning should include everyday experiences inside and outside the classroom, and students should deal responsibly with technology. So according to UNESCO, advances in STEM have already brought about improvements in many aspects of life, such as health, environment, renewable energy, infrastructure. So STEM education is a key for preparing students for the world of work, enable entry into demand STEM careers for tomorrow. And also the skills acquired by STEM education, according to World Economic Forum, is a measurement of the future preparedness of the countries. And now there are some experts who add STEM, and then we're talking about STEM, that means environmental STEM. Environmental STEM, and apart from this is combined with online STEM also, because the latest trends in STEM show that web is actually a very important, playing a very important role in the educational process. And by exploiting connectivity, new educational paradigms are emerging. So we talk about many virtual labs, many online tools, etc. So what happened here with education for sustainable development, and how this combined with them? Education sustainable development aims to empower people to participate in shaping a sustainable future. This should develop individual values, knowledge, skills, competencies for sustainable living and participation in society. And remember that education for sustainable development is always contextual and locally relevant. That means that we take students and go out to the nature to do activities there, because in this way they can adopt healthy lifestyles, they can learn how to respect the environment, etc. So it's always contextual. It should be interdisciplinary, it should be holistic, and it should be value-driven. It should promote critical thinking, problem-solving through the variety of learning and teaching methods, and to reflect all three dimensions said before: sustainable development, economic, social, environmental. So, as I said before, it should be contextual. That means it should be involved in a local or a habitat. Students therefore develop awareness and concern for the environment. And in this way, they can adopt healthy lifestyles. Ethics here also is very, very important, and it should be combined and incorporated in STEM education. And STEM education ideally would be based on the purpose of providing resolutions to environmental problems. As an educator, so when we implement STEM projects, we never give solutions to students. Students should find the solutions. We suggest, we give them the problem, they should find the solutions. So we demand, we request their active interventions, and always critical thinking in order to give solutions. So environmental education aims from a democratic, inclusive society in which effective environmentally literate community members possess a sense of empowerment and agency, participate, creativity, and responsibility, and offers a vision of environmental education that makes sense within education systems. It promotes progress toward healthy quality of life. And here, why we need environmental literacy? Why? Is environmental literacy depends on learners' ability to ask questions, to speculate, to hypothesize, all these skills that combine environmental STEM education. Seek information, develop answers to questions. Learners must be familiar with inquiry-based learning. And all this process to search, to formulate hypotheses, to master fundamental skills for gathering, organizing information, to interpret and synthesize information, develop and communicate explanations. We have a whole set of skills here in environmental literacy: questioning, design investigations, collecting information, evaluating accuracy, reliability, organizing, analyzing information, working with models, drawing conclusions. And environmental literacy actually dependent on understanding of processes and systems that comprise the environment. Students develop an understanding of how changes in one system results in changes in another, and develop understanding of how activities affect environmental quality and long-term sustainability. We're talking also about another set of skills for understanding and addressing environmental literacy, which includes abilities to define, to learn about, to evaluate, and act on environmental issues. Because students investigate environmental issues, they consider evidence, differing viewpoints, evaluate proposed action plans, they analyze the consequences of their own actions and actions taken by other individuals. Here we have also another set of skills: identifying, investigating issues, sorting out the consequences of issues, working with flexibility, creativity, and openness. And another set of skills: decision-making, action skills, forming, evaluating personal views, evaluating the need for action, planning, taking action, evaluating the result of actions. Personal responsibility.
Sorry for interrupting.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Time is running out. Yeah. Can you just go to the conclusion of the presentation?
Just to conclude, I want to say that I here as the Great Ministry of Education, where I'm working, I have written a new, first, here is my new project that was for during remote learning with my students about environmental, how technology can help environmental health. And here we have, we use a STEM technology in Arduino in order to create a miniaturized apartment, and we have installed the sound detectors, etc. We examine the nuisance factors of this apartment with my students. And at the Greek Ministry where I'm working, I launched a new program which is called SOS for Changing Earth Climate. It's going to be launched to primary school students, and it actually combines environmental education with STEM education and arts. It is based on STEM development goals, and it is all the thematic axes are here: climatic zones of Earth, natural factors, etc., that affect climate in a place. And of course, through this program, students have the opportunity to experiment, create, collaborate, etc., and develop a set of skills. And some activities that have integrated there. There's some experiments to simulate weather phenomena, to take measurements of temperature, pressure, humidity, build a mini meteorological station, art activities, etc. Of course, all this to sensitize students about the phenomenon of climate change, to cultivate the concept of active citizenship. Apart from this, I'm the founder of many humanitarian projects in Africa and Asia that aim to promote positive peace and improve the standard of living there. Thank you very much for this project. I have received over 120 awards. I was selected among the best teachers in the world for the Global Teacher Prize for the Teacher Award as a global icon, etc. Thanks a lot for your attention. Actually, this is a huge...
Wow, yeah, a super excellent public speaking skill and speed, though. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Lanto, for your presentation, such inspiring and also inspirative. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I invite any of you who would like to pose questions. You are pleased to give questions to Dr. Lanto. Okay, here we have a question from Miss Regita. She asks, I want to ask, related to your explanation, how to attribute of STEM educated students. Thank you.
What we say here, now experts talk about environmental STEM. It's a whole very, very new trend concept. Is what I said before, we're taking students and we go outside the classroom and we're doing activities there. We can take measurements. We can plant, we can create a garden, and we can sit here and then plant many flowers, or create a mini meteorological station said before. Any hands-on activity. STEM is by definition something hands-on. So when we try to implement projects, first of all, what we call crossover learning. Crossover learning is the outdoor learning. So outside the classroom is the first one. The second one, STEM. Why STEM? Because STEM is about hands-on. It's not about theory, it's about practical applications. It's about creativity, it's about teamwork. All the skills that are required in 21st century. When I think this is the best way, this combination of environmental education, awareness, STEM, is the best way to solve all this, to help students solve or suggest solutions to future problems such as environmental issues. I think this is the best way to combine them.
All right. Thank you so much for your excellent answer. Hopefully it can fill your curiosity, Miss Regita. We still have another question from Mr. Shah here. He asked how to improve education through virtual learning as all students do not have internet facility.
I saw you before that I have a project that I have implemented with my students with STEM Arduino. It was implemented during COVID pandemic, so through remote learning. It was very, very difficult, I can admit that, but STEM projects are feasible during online learning if you have a very good tutorial and instructions, step by step. If you give instructions and at the same time you can organize combined live sessions and online sessions, live in order to teleconferencing, in order to give them to give explanation to students, and offline activities, not to help them experiment themselves. If you combine that with a very good manual and instruction, this is feasible. I have done many experiments in Africa during the COVID pandemic through online learning, and it was very, very fruitful. It was amazing. It's something that has been done, but it needs organization and method.
All right, thank you so much for the answer. Wow, a very inspiring presentation and also lively discussion. Thank you so much once again for Dr. Lampo to be part of our event today. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move on to the next presenter. Here we have Dr. Dithar Balderas. Let's check if he is in this room already. Hello, Dr. Balderas, are you here? It seems like he's not here. Then I would like to move on to the next one. Dr. Bob Choate from California. I can see his name.
Yes,
Oh, wow.
I'm here. Yes.
Yeah, I can see you then. Are you ready?
Yeah, so I just want to let people know that California is in the United States. So yes. In fact, I'm from the Los Angeles area of California. Yes.
So from the United States, right? All right.
From the United States. Yes.
Yeah. So this is your turn, 15 minutes for you. We are excited to see and listen your presentation.
Absolutely. So I'm going to be talking about getting into what is known as a flow state. So flow state is tantamount to peak performance. So in even in education and so many other areas. So let me go ahead and get my screen if I can find it there. Get this started. Let me see here. Okay, so flow and peak performance. So let me go to the next one. So a little bit about me. I spent 8 years in the Marines. I went into the Marine Corps at the age of 17 in 1968 and got out in 1976. So I'm kind of dating my age. I turned 70 this year. And then later in life, I earned my PhD in clinical psychology and later in neuropsychology, and also studied neuroscience. And I'm a flow state practitioner. So this is just a little bit more about me. And my foundation for everything I do is based in the martial arts. I started training in martial arts when I was 18 months old from my mom. I'm half Japanese, and then I got into a kick later in life, really wanted to travel the world and studying different martial arts. In fact, going to Indonesia, studied Pencak Silat. So that was very, very exciting for me to learn about your country's martial arts. So in terms of peak performance, and what is peak performance? So when we think about it, peak performance is really just raising your state, and it can be in any area, whether it's academics, whether it's sporting events like in the martial arts, and in so many different areas. We can perform at a higher level, but there's a process of being able to do that. So when you perform at your maximum ability, your confidence gets raised. It starts becoming like much easier, and then your concentration is much better. And how do we do this? So if we think about going back to 1954, and this is in May of 1954, and Roger Bannister, he actually broke the 4-minute mile for the first time. I believe it was on 3 minutes 59.4 seconds. Now, prior to that, all the physical therapists, all the experts at that time said it was impossible. The human body could not go below the 4-minute mile. And then Roger Bannister, he just went into an absolute focus. He was a world-class runner, and he trained and he trained and he trained, and he stayed focused on that, being the first person to break that 4-minute mile. Now, what happened after he broke it was really amazing. That just a month after, there was another person who went below 4 minutes. Then it started, they actually broke his record. But then it just started happening and happening all the way to this day. And we see people like running right down, like way below the 4-minute mile. We even see high schoolers breaking the 4-minute mile. So Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. So Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, and he recently passed away this past fall. He's known as a father of flow. And he actually wrote this book on flow. Prior to that, he wrote a book back in the 1970s. In fact, let me see, I was able to acquire it right after he died. It's called Beyond Freedom and Anxiety. And this is a signed copy. I got lucky and I was able to acquire it this year. And he wrote this book on flow, which became an amazing, so there's been a lot of research done in terms of flow since he wrote this book and in his prior books. And in flow is getting focused, but focused not in the terms of where you're using your prefrontal cortex, this part of the brain here. This is an important part of the brain, but that is where your thinking is necessary there, but it can get in the way of a flow state. In flow, you feel really more energized. You get into a state of joy, and time seems to like slow down. In some cases, it can even speed up. And it becomes what is known as an autotelic experience. This means it's internalized and everything, and you have a sense of control. So when we think about the flow state, it's that area where your challenge is just enough where you don't feel anxiety, but it goes above this area of boredom. So most people, like including like if you're studying for a subject, and if you have too much anxiety in this area, you will not get in flow. You start stressing out, and you're not absorbing the information as much. Yet if you're bored, if you're not being challenged enough, and I want to know, including how many people, or how many of you have been like bored to death. You go into a classroom and you're bored of the subject because it's easy. See, when it becomes too easy and it's not challenging, then you're not growing. And in a flow state, it's about growth. This is the ultimate area, right in this area right here, getting into that flow state. Again, you want to have the challenge high enough, but not too high where it gets into this area here. But you want to have it high enough to match your skill set at the time. So in the states of flow, we have different phases that we will go through. The first one is going through a struggle. So this is when you're learning something new, and it's kind of hard. I know that, like when I started, like when I went to Indonesia, and I've been in martial arts for a lot of years, but Pencak Silat was completely different. Everything was about it, and I'm very analytical, so I try to break it down in terms of using my prefrontal cortex and analyzing how this works, how that works, and I tend to do that a lot. But that was my struggle. I was going through that. I was trying to analyze. I was trying to learn it. But once I learned it, then I learned to get into the next part, is release it. Now it's absorbed into me. it's become part of me as I was doing the movements. It became like with less effort. And then once I got the basics down, then I went to the next level. Same thing in any martial arts. And if you know about martial arts, you have a white belt, and then going up different belt levels to black, and then you have the different levels of those. And that's in like the traditional arts. In Ping Shao's a lot, you don't have belt levels like that, so it's a little bit different. But it still works in terms of the same way. So once you do this, and you challenge yourself, and you're growing, and you start getting into the flow state, your brain now starts wiring. So, and this has been for many decades, and recent study that came out even confirms it even more, is that when you engage in activity, your brain starts wiring for that activity, and the more that it wires together, you start getting into a better state of flow as you challenge and you incorporate more learning. So you get into what is known as memory consolidation. So now let's talk about this area right in here. So this is the area that we need, and critical thinking was mentioned earlier. So this is the area of the brain that you need for critical thinking, for setting goals, for all these areas. So it's the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. And this area, while we get into the initial learning, so as I did with the analytical part and trying to break down and learning it, you won't get into a state of flow at this point in time. But this is needed for the initial learning aspect. So just right in this area. But once you start getting into a state of flow, again, this area right in here, and we talked about the dorsal prefrontal cortex. So this is important for initial learning. But once you get into it and you need to consolidate the memory, this part right here of the prefrontal cortex, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, is being shut down. And then you go into what is known as transient hypofrontality. So there's a researcher back in the early 2000s, and he looked at this, and Arne Dietrich. So Arne Dietrich is a cognitive neuroscientist. So he started looking in how flow state is actually created. And it even went, he even went beyond that aspects of flow state. He started looking at like how do we go into an altered state? So flow is in essence an altered state. So he started looking at that. He studied at hypnosis and exercise. He incorporated that in. So if you ever exercise and you start enjoying, and you get into a sense of joy, and it becomes like without effort, you lose yourself in terms of that. You're focused only on that, and you're really not aware of what's going on outside of here. And I got into that as well. So 13 years ago, I started doing parkour. So parkour, if you ever watch YouTube videos of these young kids going over obstacles and off of buildings and everything like that. So I started doing that as an older person. And out here in California, there's an academy that teaches that kind of stuff. But again, I had to learn the basics, just like when I was doing the martial arts. And I incorporated what I did back when I was in the Marines, a little bit about that. I was in First Force Recon and Marine Corps. So in the United States Marines, Force Recon is like the Navy SEALs or the Army Special Forces. So we had our own area in terms of that. So a lot of the kind of same stuff I was doing, but there was a lot of foundational stuff I didn't really even understand. So I started doing that, and then it became easier. So it took me about 6 months to get some of the basics foundations down. Then I started getting better and better and better. And And then once I go and I find an obstacle, I already know how I'm going to transition it, like running up the side of a wall or trying to grab the top of a building. So it's already there, but I'm going to the next challenge. So this part is shut down because I don't want to be thinking about it. Because when I start thinking about it, I'm going to get injured. And this happened to me in 2013 when I lost focus and I was doing a jump and I ended up running my face in the concrete and I broke my nose because I allowed my dorsal prefrontal cortex to get in the way. So this is important, is that we want to shut that part down, but we only shut that part down when we're already at a certain level of competence in terms of skill level. So we look at this. This is the beta. This is when we're fully awake, and that's that area of the brain I told you about, the dorsal prefrontal cortex. This is engaged. Getting into alpha theta, and if you ever have been done meditation or been in a hypnotic state, this is where you're working at in the alpha theta. But then you have gamma. So gamma is where you get into intense peak focus on a given, but it doesn't happen all the time. So gamma, it's above beta. Your brain is really active, and it's a short burst before you go back down into the relaxing state of alpha theta. But this is important for getting into the state of flow. So flow state, it helps you to rise to a level of mastery. And again, Rania mentioned STEM education. So one of the things that in my last semester in high school, I was going to University of Southern California every Saturday, and I was studying a computer language called Fortran 4. So Fortran 4, if you've never heard of it, it's old machine code. We're programming IBM 360 computers. You may have seen like punch cards and everything like that, right? So those punch cards, I had so we had our initial cards, and each line of code I had to fill it out and everything like that, and they end up with a stack of code like this, and that is fed into the machine. And on the IBM 360 computers, you had these big reels of magnetic tape, which it gets encoded in that. So those were like one of the early days of computers. And then I later on, going back to STEM, I self-taught myself more of the contemporary languages as well. I had the foundation down, but then I had to get in a state of flow. So when I learned Python and Ruby and C++ and C# and R and all these other languages. So again, I'm very analytical, so I like doing that kind of stuff besides my athletics and everything. So flow, again, your challenges are being increased, your skills, your challenges are increasing your skill level. So it's all about really rising in terms of skill level, whether you're in STEM education, whether you're learning in other areas of education. And when David mentioned multi-disciplinary kind of education, I like to learning across different areas. I continue to go to school even now to challenge myself, and I just recently heard about this one gentleman who decided to go back. He always wanted to get his degree in physics. He ended up getting his PhD in physics at the age of 89. So again, this is a surfer who rode the largest wave ever surfed. Rodrigo Coxa is 24.38 meters. I mean, that's a huge wave. I mean, going back, if you go back to the 80s, people were doing waves like 30 feet, not 24.38 meters. I mean, that's, and now I'm hearing about even going up to past the 33 meter mark in terms of surfing a wave. So big difference. Again, Laird Hamilton, he was the first big wave surfer in 1992. This is when everything shifted. again, like Roger Bannister earlier. So once somebody started doing that and other people started challenging, going to that next level, and people have told me the same thing. Why are you doing parkour at your age? Now 70 years old, I'm still doing parkour. I like challenge myself and doing those. So the last aspect I want to get into is when you challenge yourself, you need rest. You need to sleep. This is critical. Sleep enhances the memory consolidation. And I'm just going to do it really quick. Is that we go into a deep state of sleep. Again, on the brainwave things, that's a delta state. It helps to rewire your brain. You also, in deep sleep, you remove toxic materials. So you get the cerebral spinal fluid that comes in your brain, and it starts cleaning out. And there's other processes there as well. And then you get human growth hormones are being built in deep sleep. So LeBron James, if you've ever heard of LeBron James, the NBA basketball player. So during training, in his peak season, he'll sleep 12 hours a day. So yeah, so I'm telling you, get sleep. Very, very important. Distractions, again, when I had my parkour fail, distractions was a big part of that. I wasn't focused on making a jump. I was focused on explaining to another person on how to do it, and I didn't do it. So you develop your flow state if you want to attain peak performance, reaching a level of mastery and being your best ever in both your personal and your professional lives. And I'm going to add in your academic life as well, if you want to go to the next level. So work on your flow state, and you will absolutely reach that level. So thank you, and it's been a pleasure.
Oh, wow. It's such a sophisticated explanation. I can say that this is a truly new for me, especially. Yeah. So this is very refreshing my horizons. Thank you so much for sharing with us today.
You're welcome.
Okay, and now I would like to invite, oh no, we already got a question exactly from Mr. Ahmed here in the chat box. Why we always use alpha, beta, gamma, and delta symbols for showing things? Have we not other names or symbols in biology, chemistry, or physics? Thanks. Probably you can explain the answer.
So we do use symbols, in explaining brain waves and everything, and I agree. There are symbols in terms of biology or chemistry. I mean, one of the things, if you look at the periodic chart, there are symbols that will break it down, but they're like I carry that as well. So I'm an absolute nerd. I have science and everything. One of my things. So when I talk about flow, one person that I like to mention, because I'm glad the aspects of physics was brought up, is Richard Feynman. So have you ever heard of Richard Feynman? So Richard Feynman, he won a Nobel Prize. He's a theoretical physicist. So he won a Nobel Prize in 1964. And the way he explains it is very simple. And so instead of the symbolic thing like with that, he uses like real world examples when he explains, for example, heat. So and I love the way he teaches. So like he calls heat is just like molecules that are moving really, really fast. He calls it jiggly molecules. So yeah, so that's an interesting concept.
Okay, yeah, hopefully it can answer your curiosity, Mr. Ahmed. Well, talking about brain is talking something complicated though. Yeah, I personally have problems in concentrating, especially in this multitasking era, right? Do you have any kind of suggestions to
Yeah.
make us, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, so the thing about multitasking cannot be done except when you're using a different part of the brain. But when you're focused in terms of, for example, if you're driving a vehicle and then you're talking on a cell phone, it can't be done. So your brain is using the same area of the brain of that focus, and then it switches back and forth. Same thing at work. So whenever I see an employer asking to do multitasking, it cannot be done. Now, if you're doing something like hiking, for example, walking or something like that, that's using a different part of your brain. Walking is using a different part of your brain. So you can walk, and then you can do another activity that uses this part of your brain. But for everything else, you'll be more productive if you just stay absolute focused and concentrate on that one area. And the suggestion that I would have people do, there's this thing called the Pomodoro technique. So what that is that you stay focused on an activity for 25 minutes. You only do that one activity for 25 minutes, then you take a 5-minute break before you go back into it. So you can do multiple Pomodoros in a day. I had one guy, he started doing that, and he was doing the multitasking prior to doing that. But once he started focusing, he was able to get more done in that 25 minutes than he was able to do in 4 to 6 hours. So again, don't multitask. Unitask. Focus.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
It's really inspiring. Yeah, there is a participant here raising hand. It seems he would like to talk to you directly. Mr. El Nadif or Mrs. El Nadif or Miss El Nadif. Yeah, you may turn on your camera and also
Yes, hello. Hello.
Hi. Yes.
Yes, how are you? Yeah, thank you for this talented, brilliant presentation, actually. I would like to ask you about the state of flow. Because you say the state of flow started from struggle phase and finish up with the consolidation phase. Does this or does the state of flow the same as stages of competence? Are they the same?
Okay,
Because
so
we start with the unconscious, then we go unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, and conscious competence and unconscious competence. Are they the same? Thank you very much.
Sure. Yeah. So, and I'm glad that you said that. Very good question. Yes. So whenever we engage in activity, yes, we don't even know what we don't know. So you're absolutely right about that. But as we challenge ourselves in that activity, and even if it's a foundation, basic kind of thing, then we're going to start rising. But again, we have to go to that next level to know what we don't know, and then you start becoming like competent, conscious competent. So that means we know that we know, and then going to that next level. So the unconscious part, the unconscious competent is the best part on getting a state of flow. So yes, we have to build that foundation first, and we get competent where it drops into our unconscious mind at that point in time. The problem with a lot of people, and I taught psychology at a local college out here, and you probably noticed, like somebody that takes a psychology 101 class first year psychology, or just a basic psychology because they have to fulfill something, they tend to think that they know it all, right? So they're really not competent, but they think that they're competent. So I have to say that you really don't know anything about psychology. And even like with me, and I've studied a lot of years in psychology in a lot of different areas, and there's things I really don't know. I probably know like that much, and I'm continuing to learn. I'm continuing to learn. I have my own, like, I have a personal library of over 12,000 books, which I continue to learn from. I'm taking more classes and everything, and I'm learning from even younger people like each one of you. So my growth will never end, and I'm going to be like that 89-year-old, maybe getting another PhD in something. So.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, we still have one last question, I guess. Probably how to get a good night's sleep, probably a deep sleep, yeah, because sometimes it's hard to sleep when we fall asleep. Sometimes we still think of something.
Yes, overthinking. Oh, but God, that's something a lot of people struggle with. So I'm going to make a suggestion that you get a notebook. So whatever is worrying you, write it down in the notebook and allow that notebook to own it. The problem is that when we start thinking about something, whether we have to do something tomorrow or anything else, our minds get filled with that because we're all these kind of things happening. So you want to do is take it out of your mind, write it down in that notebook or on a piece of paper, and let that paper own it. You can always go back and look at it for the next day, but you don't need to be thinking about it. You already wrote it down. So yeah.
Okay, so don't be overthinking. That's a very
Don't-
great.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Well, Dr. Bob Choate, is that the correct pronunciation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a truly motivating and super encouraging presentation. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We're also very impressed with your focus. Yeah, that's really great presentation for today. As all the participants agree that you are outstanding. Thank you so much.
Oh,
for
thank
being
you,
part of this
everybody.
event. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, it seems like two of our next presenters are not in this room yet because of the signal
am.
problems. Yeah.
I am here.
Oh yeah.
Yes, since 30 minutes ago.
I see. All right. So because yeah, you put a different name on your Zoom, so I couldn't recognize it. I apologize for that.
No worries.
Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we have Dr. Daniela Ramiura from Luxembourg who would like to present her material in another 15 minutes. So this is the time for you, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I will actually link to what has been said by Dr. Choate, and maybe you will find that it's provocative, but actually I disagree with some things that he has said, because we are just so fascinated with Western values, with productivity, with efficiency, and I think we have to go back to our roots a little bit. I mean, being in the area that you have so much to actually teach us in the Western world. And I think you really, if there is one keyword that I would like to talk about today, is actually self-confidence. Because a lot of people are just so fascinated with Western philosophies and Western educational systems and philosophies, and you forget that actually you have a lot of values that are very deep rooted in your system, in your educational system. And given everything that is going on in the world, especially now during the pandemic, when everybody is becoming more and more individual, focusing on your own life, just enjoying the life because it's short, we hear that all the time. But what happens actually is that a lot of people get estranged from their family members, from their parents, because they just they dislike to hear about sacrifices that one has to do for other family members, supporting each other even in very difficult times. And I think we have to really start to go back to these values, because family values and community values, we have them less and less in the Western world, but you still have them more there in your area, in Asia and other parts of the world. I'm originally from Romania, so Eastern Europe. When I came to Luxembourg in '98, I have to tell you that a lot of the things, even though we have these ideas that Luxembourg is a very developed country, of course it is. It's one of the countries with the highest GDP in the world. However, there were so many things that me, coming from Eastern Europe, I could bring and I could enrich the local culture. For example, some of the things that I've created, and there was no introduction of me, but actually I'm a serial entrepreneur. So I've had different companies, 4 different companies in 3 different countries, Romania, United Kingdom, and Luxembourg. And now I'm also involved in the academic, so at the University of Luxembourg, while I continue to own my own business, languages.lu in Luxembourg. And so I wanted to share just 2 different areas where me, coming from a completely different region with this fascination for the Western world, actually I could contribute more than all the people in the country. And this is something that you really have to remind yourselves. You have a lot of values and you have a lot of richness in your area, and don't always just look for inspiration to the Western world, but to bring also your things into our thinking, into our communities, because that's something extremely valuable. So I will just try to share screen here. Let's see if it works. Sometimes I have a problem. Yeah, you do. You do see my screen?
Yes.
Actually, I cannot go back to, oh, okay, sorry. So it's here. So for example, this is my company, languages.lu. So I created it in 2003 in the United Kingdom, and then I opened a branch in Luxembourg. So what I wanted to tell you, I came to a country that was not mine, with a very different language, actually with 3 official languages, Luxembourgish, French, and German. And even though it was not my mother tongue, and it was not a language that I knew I was speaking, so I had to learn. Actually, I'm considered one of the most active promoters of the Luxembourgish language nowadays, because I've created, so I saw a gap in the market. There were not enough, and there were just some very traditional books to learn Luxembourgish, but they didn't have any playful materials. So I created, you can see here some of the materials that I've created during the last years. And this is important also for you to think that, okay, what can I contribute to, especially when you're moving to a different country, but also in your own community? How can I contribute with my knowledge? Knowing that I have a language first background, and then I went into marketing. So I have an MBA in marketing and international business, and I've been teaching marketing in Germany for several years. So I thought, okay, what can you do to actually help the community here, help my new country, help people like myself who came to this country at an adult age, and they don't know how to learn the language. It's a difficult language, having the German structure, the German grammar. And so I created a lot of different materials. For example, you can see here 100 expressions you need to master in Luxembourgish. So you can have, so you have different expressions on one side. So the flashcards, this is very popular in the Anglo-Saxon culture, but not in Luxembourg and not in many of the countries in Europe. For example, here there is also a game. So I started to, I got my inspiration from children. Usually we play with children, a game when you just put on the forefront a name. For example, you could say, you could put the name and the other person has to guess with by asking questions. For example, you could have Mahatma Gandhi, right? And then the other child or adult has to ask questions. Okay, am I alive? Am I actively in politics, or any kind of questions until you get to the answer. But then I actually changed I reversed the concept, and you have the description of different personalities in the world in different languages, Luxembourgish and English. And then you have to guess, who am I? So who is the person that the description is about? Then another material, learning material, is a calendar. This was actually one of the most difficult to produce, to publish. We had to do it in different countries, in Germany and Luxembourg, because of the difficult of production process. It has different materials that we didn't have in Luxembourg, so we had to do it in Germany and then bring it back to Luxembourg. So basically, it's a calendar, but a non-dated calendar that you can have on your desk, and then every day. So this covers the first level of the Luxembourgish language. You always have explanations in English and in French, because these are the most common languages spoken in Luxembourg. And so it's a way to learn, but in a more in a funnier way, in a more playful way. Here then I have published another one, which is about idioms. So in every culture you have different idioms, which actually tell you a lot about the culture of that country, about the way that local people think. So this was also a way of showing that language is not just it's not just something that you learn in order to express, okay, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, etc. But it opens you a door to the culture of people, to their hearts, because if you speak their language and you understand also the way they think, then it's just a different way of communication. It's just a deeper communication. And for example, here you can see one expression that would be translated literally. It's like small children, small problems, or small concerns, big children, big concerns. So it's just about the fact that, as you grow up, and if you have children, you always remain parent, and concerns for your children will never end. So it's just different ways of teaching languages, of learning and practicing languages. For example, here you can see one for younger children, starting at the age of 3. So it's small cards that they could play with in a little suitcase that they could actually wear on their shoulder, and they have an image, and then also the word in different languages, in English, French, and German. Here I have created also some post-its. Post-its are a very useful and versatile actually learning material, because you can use them also at work and at home. So you just stick them to, for example, to the window, to the door, to the book, in the kitchen, and I use different colors. So the colors are related to the gender, because in Luxembourgish we have 3 different genders: feminine, masculine, and neutral. And so, as you can see, pink, I have used pink for feminine, and then blue for masculine, and green for neutral. And then for verbs, I've used yellow. So this is just a very visual way, because as you all know, we're all in education, and everybody has a different way of learning. So there is not a one size fits all methodology. So somebody will remember better if they hear, somebody will remember better if you see it in writing, somebody if they write themselves. And so I'm just trying to use the different ways, different styles of learning that would respond to more people and learning methodologies and learning styles. And of course, all these materials always come with audio files. So sometimes there is a QR code. Sometimes you just have to go to our website. As you can see, for example, here, you always have, it's written under the description of each material, download the audio files. And then anybody, even if they didn't buy the product, they could actually just download and use the material free of charge. So this is kind of my contribution to my new country. And this is another book that I have written for children and published end of 2019. Our Magic Journey on Earth, a book of kindness, friendship, and respect. Actually, this book is very much in line with what I just said at the beginning. It's really these values that we need to go back to and try to pass them on to our children, because nowadays that's really the biggest challenge, that everybody will just focus on themselves and we forget the power of communities. Like what you are doing today, I find really amazing that so many of us are here on a Sunday morning. Like I was invited to join at 7:30 on a Sunday morning on, just the second day of Christmas. And one has to be really motivated to serve the community to do that. So I really congratulate all of you for your service and for your engagement and commitment to help each other, because that's really one of the values that we need to pass on and to include in our education. It's not just about efficiency and productivity. It's really about well-being. It's sleeping enough. Of course, that's a very important thing in our lives, to combine work and time with, time for ourselves, but also time for the community. This gives you back so much satisfaction. So these are some of the material that I wanted to show, but I can also show another project. As I said, I've been involved in different ways in the community since I came here. And for example, another very important and valuable project that I started actually in 2009 in Luxembourg. So when I came here, there was no association which was representing the voice of women. So there was no Women Entrepreneurs Association. And I did that. So in 2004, actually with a group of other women, I've created the Women Entrepreneurs Association. Is called in French, it's a very long name, so Fédération des Femmes Chefs d'Entreprise du Luxembourg. So this is now the main entrepreneurs voice, female entrepreneurs voice in the country. And then I went ahead, and in 2007, I have created another organization, which is called Women Leaders of Luxembourg. Also, it's in French, Femmes Leaders du Luxembourg. And then the last project that I started is this one, which is called Inspiring Women. Now here is no longer supported on this PC, but as you can see, I play here with the word women, which if you just have one minus in between, actually you can include in one word both women and men, because this is something that I'm trying to promote. When I started these associations to represent women's voices in Luxembourg, people were thinking, okay, I'm not going there because this is just a thing of women. This is just for women. So why should I attend this conference? Why should I attend this award ceremony? And I was saying, if we go to a different conference, for example, about a very, very successful man in finance, you don't go just because you are a man, right? We go because we learn from each other, no matter what our gender is. So I really wanted to show that we are complementary. So women and men have to work together. And it's very sad to say that very often we can promote better some of our projects if we have a man's support. And that's very sad, but it is how it is. So that's why we have to get on board as many men and women as possible, because we need to support this idea and to promote this idea that women and men are together. This is the world we are living in. There is not, okay, men there and women there, and we don't mix. Dr. Chong was talking earlier about not focusing on different things in the same time, but actually this is one of the most amazing things that we have as women, because we can focus on different things. We are multitasking. This is something, as a mother, as an educator, you have to multitask. You're cooking, and in the same time you're watching a conference, and at the same time you're changing your baby. This is a multitasking. This is fantastic, and a lot of men would like to have this great advantage, because it is an advantage. Of course, we have to alternate moments of focusing on one thing and multitasking. but don't unlearn to be multitasking, because this is really something fantastic that not many people can do. And okay, I'm going to talk about, a little bit of gender. Maybe there are some stereotypes, but it is indeed something that is more common in women. So do not unlearn this thing. Even if you want to be more productive, do not unlearn it, but rather alternate, focusing on one task and then multitasking. So as you can see here, these are some of the events that with Inspiring Women I've been organizing for many years. So I also published some books that you can see here. So 2 books on successful women, just because I thought it's very important to motivate other women by showing that anybody else can, or let's say by showing that other women have succeeded before them. And I was giving always different examples from different areas of expertise. I mean, be it in finance, in social work, in education, in technology, in entrepreneurship. If you read about other people's stories, especially other women who don't have necessarily more resources or not smarter than you, but just maybe more resilient, maybe just more persistent, maybe more confident, and they have succeeded. So you can see this kind of stories. We need to continue to share them among each other. And this is what I've done in these 2 books. We had in one book 100 women sharing their success stories, also from diplomacy, from the corporate world, and always giving some advice, some tips to the younger or less younger, because it's really not a matter of age here. And so you can see here a lot of photos, because we've been doing this for many years, so it's difficult to choose just one. For example, this was the first forum on best practices in gender equality. But maybe one of the very inspiring things that I could show you is actually here. So it was I started to organize some awards. So these awards were called Inspiring Woman of the Year and Inspiring Men of the Year. And the idea was to really have different people from the community vote for who was the most inspiring woman in different fields. And here you can see the recipients of my awards. This was in 2013. And for example, this woman, she's the only woman in the world to have received the award that is called in cooking. So as a chef, is Bocuse d'Or. Maybe you've heard of it, but she's the only woman in the world. Normally it's more men, even though cooking is so much associated as a task with mothers, with women. Actually, most of the like 99.9% of the men who have received this award as a chef, they are men. And this was the only woman, and she lives in Luxembourg, and the other are in different. So she was in technology. He was the inspiring man of the war of the year in Luxembourg, because of his work to really have a balance between women and men in his company, in entrepreneurship, in the corporate world, and so on. And she was representing here Bank of New York Mellon, when I have awarded them the top company for gender equality award. This was an award also that I've started. Yeah, it was a very nice cake. Inspiring woman. This was for the 5 years of this association. And
Excuse me, Dr. Moraru.
Sorry?
Yeah, the time is running out, actually.
Yes. I can stop at any time. So
okay. Can you just come up to the conclusion?
Pardon me? The conclusion.
The conclusion of the presentation.
Okay, so well, the conclusion will be that in the future we need to really focus on quality rather than quality, and get back to values that are really important. And even when we have these conferences, I think we have to focus more on exchanging with the participants rather than just having us talk, because I think the most important part of this and of the learning experience, and when we exchange, when we have questions and we bring in, but also the participants who are here and who are not necessarily speakers, they have so much to share, and we can learn from each other so much better if we share and if we care about each other as a community of educators, a community of the world. So that's my contribution today, and thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much for another inspiring notion, a different perspective from women. Yeah, that's really interesting. Well, we have so many questions here in the chat box, and also there is one participant raising hand. Well, the first question coming from Mr. Ahmed. He said, "You look so pretty today," and yeah, how can we create more values in our lives, whether they are in Eastern or Western values?
Mm-hmm. Well, creating is not so much about creating, it's a lot about education in my view, because we learn these values from our parents, from our community, and so that's why our mission here is really to pass on to the younger people these values. I think if you're already at an adult age and your personality is already formed, I don't know if it's so easy to actually bring in some values. I mean, it could, but as we know, personality formation is taking place in the early ages, and actually until five years old is really important that we pass on some values to our children. Or if you're grandparents, that's really the most important age when we pass on some fantastic values to our. I mean, children are just looking at the role models they have around them. It could be their parents, but even if the parents are not role models for them, that's not an excuse. You know, we cannot say, okay, my parents are prisoners, or I don't know, are criminals. That's not an excuse. Then we have to look out for other people, educators. It could be some, anybody in the community could have this role, and that's fantastic in your part of the world, because you do have this idea that it's not just the parents who raise a child; it's the entire community who's responsible for the result, for how this child is raised, and that's one of the values that we really have to keep promoting. So I don't know if I answered your question, Mr. Ahmed.
Okay, yeah, hopefully it can answer your curiosity. Yeah, so we learn from anywhere and anyone, right? Who are positive, of course. There is a participant who raises his hand, Mr. Shukla. He would like to talk directly to you. You are pleased to open your camera and unmute your microphone, Mr. Shukla.
Hi, good afternoon to everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning also. I'm from S. Shukla from India, as a government trainer. Very knowledgeable, all the valuable. Now, Kalida, can you tell me how can we will uplift the women's in the world through all the activities?
How can we uplift the woman?
Yeah, correct.
Well, I think you, Mr. Shukla, you cannot uplift the woman in the world. They have to uplift themselves. Yeah,
correct.
It's something. It's really a personal responsibility. We just have to care about each other and to really, support each other. But other than that, I think it's a personal responsibility. And I saw this throughout my more than 20 years, working in this area, trying to promote women. I think it's really, you cannot help someone unless that person really wants to be helped. So it's sharing, and then also there is another concept. I don't know if sponsoring. When you talk about sponsoring and mentoring, there is a huge difference. And actually, it's very similar. But the difference between mentoring is when you mentor someone, you just give advice. Okay, you share how you've done it. You say, okay, you should go into that direction. But the sponsoring, and people don't like that word because we just associate it with finance, but actually it doesn't have anything to do with finance. Sponsoring someone is also, it includes the part of mentoring. When you take that person close to you, you share, you mentor, but in addition, you actually open some doors for that person. If you see somebody who has a fantastic potential, you don't have just to say, okay, you should do that, you should do that. You try to find opportunities for that person. You try to promote, take that person, that woman closer to you. If you have a position, a project, you could give some responsibility to that. So I think sponsoring some women instead of just mentoring them, this could be a fantastic first step. And then they have to want to get involved.
Thank you. Agreed, Clara. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
All right. Thank you so much for the answer, Dr. Clara Moraru. And I think we still have one chance for the last question from Miss Patricia Gonde. In your journey to accomplish all of this, probably your current achievements, any challenges you faced along the way and how you tackled them?
Oh, that's a very complex question. And of course, you cannot have any achievement without challenges. So challenges are part of the journey, and challenges are there to find solution for. And you have to learn how to look at challenge instead of just panicking when you have a challenge, to really focus on finding a solution. But sometimes you fail. And I have to say, I have a lot of projects which have succeeded, but also a lot of projects that have failed. So failure is part of learning, and it's okay to fail, and it's okay actually to come here and to say, yes, I failed in that project. Yes, we are not God. Yeah, we cannot have all the knowledge in the world. So we are learning, we are making mistakes, then we are trying again. So, that's part of the learning. So don't take a failure as really something very tragic. It's better to say, yes, I failed and I've learned this, and then try again in a different project. For me, particularly so as an entrepreneur, there are two main challenges that I faced, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they face the same. So one is human resources. Yes, it's finding the right people and managing to keep them in place, because of course, if they are young, they want to go ahead and to find other jobs, to be promoted and so on. And so it's very difficult to find the right people that you need. It takes time, it takes patience, and it's something that all the time when I speak to entrepreneurs, which is almost every day, that's one of the biggest challenges. But the second biggest challenge is human. So I said human resources, and then also resources, but financial resources. In which way? It's not so much about having the money to start a business, because I have started with almost nothing. I've started, in my living room, which I just transformed into an office. And I started with 3 employees, which are actually not paid employees, but were trainees. So I had an internship contract with the university, and they were coming and working for me for free. So I had, so sometimes it's not just about the money at the beginning, but it's about keeping the cash flow, always keeping an eye on the cash flow, so you're not left without enough money for your salaries, for your bonuses, for whatever, for your rent. And especially during the pandemic, this was very challenging, because in many businesses, people were left without enough resources, enough financial resources, but you still have to keep paying the rents, you have to keep paying the salaries. And so the resources, financial and human, these are, in my idea, in my experience, in all the different 4 businesses that I've run, this is the biggest challenge.
All right, Dr. Moraru, once again, thank you so much for being so beautiful and wonderful today, and really inspiring. Hopefully, women's participation in the academic and in all fields in this world can, grow higher and higher. And yeah, this is the end of your presentation. Once
Thank
again,
you.
thank you very much. All right, we will move on to the next presenter. I would like to invite Dr. Mbachi from Nigeria. Are you here with us? I'm afraid Dr. Mbachi also use the different name or account. Okay, hello, Dr. Mbachi. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it seems he is not here with us. So we are going to move on to the next presenter, Professor Dr. Deden Mulyana from Indonesia. Good afternoon, Prof. Deden Mulyana.
Good afternoon.
All right,
Good
it's nice to
afternoon,
hear you.
everyone from Indonesia.
All right, are you ready?
Okay.
Prof?
Okay, I'm
All
ready.
right. Yeah, 15 minutes for you from now, Prof, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The topic.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The topic of my presentation today is DART model of value co-creation on digital micro, small, medium enterprises. So may share screen, please. That model of value co-creation on a digital micro, small, medium enterprises. So this is my result of the research with my colleagues Aditya Rahmat Taufik and Evi Dani Harrison. And so for introduction, the spirit of MSMEs to return to life this year is important after Islam due to the pandemic over the past years. Based on the UNDP survey in 2020, it is known that more than 88% of MSMEs experience decrease in profit margin during the pandemic until August 2020. The government's attention to development of SMEs is also getting more intense by issuing policies that make it easier for SMEs to scale up their business. One of them is the termination of the target of 2 million micro, small, and medium enterprises going digital through the Proudly Made Indonesia movement initiated by the government, which has exceeded the target. Therefore, the future trend of the movement of MSMEs into the digital ecosystem will continue to increase. In addition, soaring trend of online shopping during the COVID-19 pandemic is believed to be able to boost the number of MSMEs that will go digital. Amid economic challenges during the COVID-19 pandemic, especially for micro, small and medium enterprises, Indonesia has the opportunity to rebound. Among the various new opportunities, there are at least 5 that have the potential to continue to sell well during a crisis. The 5 business options are selling clothes masks, ready to eat food, ventilation, frozen food, and little coffee. When it comes to clothes, face masks, I think we all understand why these items are selling so well. Personal protective equipment, such as face masks, is an essential item during the pandemic. So Indonesia is a country with the highest use of e-commerce, and SMEs play a role when they start to go digital. Micro, small, medium enterprise digital ecosystem. The new challenges, every MSME actor is required to have higher literacy in a digital business process because it is much different from the initial conventional business process. The number of parties that play a role in the digital business process must always be well identified by each MSME actor. The biggest challenge for every MSME is the ownership of limited resources. Collaboration between MSMEs can be an alternative strategy to utilize this capacity. So the value creation in MSMEs to become better digital ecosystem. What is a value co-creation? Based on the perspective of service dominant logic, value co-creation is a general concept that includes certain theories and empirical events in which companies and customers generate value through interaction. In the business context, the interaction that occurs is between the customer and the company, where both relate to each other for business reason and have the opportunity of influence each other's process. Value co-creation is an active dialogue between a customer and companies in creating shared value. Value co-creation is an active, creative, and social process based on a collaboration between producers and users initiated by the company to generate value for customers. So, value co-creation can be defined as the process of companies and other parties who have high involvement in the process. So the research framework, that model of the co-creation, so the co-creation will reach by dialogue, access, risk assessment, and of course this is in the transparency. What's the meaning of dialogue? Dialogue is a task that occurs between customers and companies, much focus on the interests of both. And companies must do more than just listen to customers. In addition, it is hoped that there will be rules of engagement and productive interaction. Dialogue means interactive, deep engagement, and a tendency to act on both sides. Empathy is around what consumers are experiencing, recognizing the emotional context, social and cultural experience. And then access. Access begins with the existence of information and equipment, which can be in the form of the internet. A company can provide access to data about the process and design to consumers. The traditional focus of enterprises and value chains is to create and transfer ownership of product to consumers. Today, the consumer's goal is access to the desired experience, not necessarily product ownership. Therefore, the idea of access to ownership must be abandoned. And the third, risk assessment. Freedom to exchange information, whether to debate or share risk. When customers and companies become co-creation of value, even for information about potential risk will increase. They can also better predict future risk. The risk here refers to the probability of harming consumers. Managers have traditionally assumed that company can better assess and manage risk. Therefore, when communicating with the consumer, companies focus only on articulating benefit, ignoring risk. And the last, transparency. Transparency is carried out to create consumer and company trust. For example, regarding prices, we said that transparency is also to facilitate if there are potential disturbances that come in the interaction. So that information about product or services, business systems are more easily accessible, thereby creating a new level of transparency that increases consumer demand. Transparency of the value of the information changes related to the co-creation process increases consumer willingness to accept the quality of their products and services. So the methodology, risk objective value co-creation strategy in MSME's digital economic ecosystem. Method as survey method, population stakeholder main actor of MSME's digital ecosystem spread throughout Indonesia. A sampling for perceived sampling, analytical tool, second order complementary factor analysis. So this the result of our research, three main actors consists of customers, digital business platform, and MSPs. So MSPs such as culinary, fashion, and craft, and so digital business platform such as a marketplace, advertising, and utility on demand. That model on three main actors, so the law, access, risk assessment, and transparency are proven. Yeah, dimensions are proven to reflect the value co-creation variable. So all of the dimension is less than more 5% as alpha or significant. So conclusion, the result of the analysis for testing the model and hypothesis of the relationship between the construct of the research variables found that the dimensions of dialogue, access, risk assessment, and transparency were proven to reflect value co-creation. Dialogue in this study can be represented by interactive communication with engagement and empathy. Access dimension consists of the availability of information, supporting tools, facilities, and experience. Risk assessment dimension consists of risk sharing, risk probability, and responsibility. And a transparency dimension is seen from the interaction, transaction system, and convenience. The result of this study indicate that the dimension of risk assessment and access are the main dimension in the value co-creation activities. This means that the evaluation of risk and accessibility is the main factor in the value co-creation process for digital micro, small, medium enterprises. Therefore, every actor involved in digitizing the MSME business, be it companies, platform provided, or consumer, and emphasize the value of risk evaluation and easy to access between stakeholders. Okay, thank you very much for your attention.
All right. Thank you so much, Prof. Deden, for your nice presentation. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite you. If you have questions to Prof. Deden, you are pleased to drop your questions in the chat box, or you can talk directly to Prof. Deden. All right. We have one participant here, Prof. Deden. Mr. Ahmad, you are pleased to unmute your microphone and also turn on your camera, and you can talk directly to Prof. Deden Mulyana.
Please, my pleasure.
Assalamualaikum to everyone.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
No doubt, ma'am, it was a very informative session.
Do you have question, by the way?
Pardon me? Mr. Nazir.
I want to ask what is the definition of MSME and what is the DART model you taught us here, sir?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much for your question. So my research, the model of that model to, analysis of that model. So as you know, the dimension of that model is consists of concept of course, yeah, dialogue, access, risk assessment and transparency. It's mean, yes. So for the take or maybe make something the products relation with small, medium or micro enterprises with a consumer is very important. So the relation, something like make for engagement for the brands or maybe price or maybe promotion method and so on. Mr. Najib.
All right. Can you?
Najib.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Nazir Ahmed. Hopefully you can get the points.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What is the abbreviation of MSME, ma'am?
The abbreviation of MSM.
Oh, abbreviation. SMS.
Yes.
Small. Sorry. Micro, small, medium enterprise. In Indonesia.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Since Mr. Ahmed has got the point, thank you so much, Prof. Deden, for your excellent answer.
Most welcome.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Najib.
All right. Do we still have any more participants to ask questions to Prof. Deden? I don't think so. So I think that's enough for your session, Prof. Deden. Thank you so much once again for your wonderful explanation and presentation.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we still have two more presenters in this occasion who would like to deliver the materials. And to substitute Dr. Mbachi, here we have Dr. Wait a moment. Okay. I should try to find out. Dr. Nked Leda from Kosovo, yeah, he would like to substitute Dr. Mbachi in this occasion. I'd like to let the host to play the video of his presentation, please.
Greetings to all of you. Thank you for inviting me. I am very honored and grateful to be here. So, I am Nkelida Lulay. I work at the University Haji Zeka Faculty of Management in Tourism, Hospitality and Environment. I am professor for finance and accounting. I apologize for not being present at the conference, but we have a problem with the electricity and network. I tried to record it and send it to you. Thank you once again for inviting me. Really, I'm very, very proud to be here. Now, you can see my presentation. So just a moment, please. So today I will talk about which businesses have the most financial stable position. So I will make a relation between the skills of managers in leadership and my scientific paper conducted in 100 businesses in Kosovo. I invite you to listen carefully because you will learn a lot. At the end, you will see the recommendation that will help the businesses. Also, you will see which businesses have the most stable financial position based on econometric model. In this slide, you will see which businesses have the most financial stable position, general information about financial position, a new point of view, learn a special skill that change basic attitude. Also, you will see the relationship between the theory and the case study in 100 enterprises or businesses in my state, Kosovo state. About theory, we have managing of financial management. Financial management means planning, organizing, directing, and controlling the financial activities such as procurement and utilization of funds of the enterprises. It means applying general management principles to financial resources of the businesses or enterprises. So whether you are a business or an individual, you have to find a way to manage your finances now and in the future. The cost of everything continues to increase, and there is no sign that this trend of price increases will stop anytime soon. So as a result, all businesses have to develop a financial management system to ensure their stability for many years to come. This system has to provide the businesses or enterprises in question with enough flexibility for them to continue to grow and pay for their necessary expenses. It also has to be strengthened enough to allow for money to be put away in the event of future catastrophes. In this case of business, all expenses have to be prioritized in the interest of spending money on the right things. When it comes time for cost-cutting measure to be implemented, they have to become with consequences in mind. Everything that is done to cut cost has an end result once it becomes a common procedure. So a person, you have to ponder whether you are cutting enough or you are cutting too much. You have to exercise the utmost level of restraint if you want the solvency to be in your future. Now, also in this slide, you will see business managers tips for a success. Trust yourself that you will succeed. We have this model has 8 steps. The number 1 is identify your strength. 2, develop existing skills. 3, find a mentor. 4, get a different perspective. 5, number 5, network. Number 6, take risk. Number 7, say no more often. And the end is number 8, insist on the highest standards. So what is important about the step number 1, or identify your strengths? All leaders, all managers have their own talents, which are used in different ways to bring out the best in themselves and others. Write down what you believe are your strongest assets and skills. Keeping this in mind, decide what the best steps are for you to progress your career. Try not to compare yourself with others, but do approach people who inspire you to ask for their best advice. What is important about develop existing skills? Focus on developing the skills you already have. Becoming an expert in your field can give you more value as a leader, as a manager, opening up new avenues for your future and teaching you how to be more receptive to new opportunities that arise. The number 3, find a mentor. When looking to make your next career move, it's worth investing in a mentor, even if you are fairly senior in your field. For get a different perspective, opening yourself up to different perspective will help you to make more accurate decisions that are driven by long-term thinking and experience rather than emotions. So leaders and managers are extendly a view, and they look for new ideas and inspiration from everywhere. By network. What is important about this step? Network can be pivotal for career advancement and achieving success as a leader, as a manager as well. It helps you gain a greater understanding of the landscape outside of your own workplace, and in turn helps the outside world know more about you. So try to inject your personality everywhere you can. 6, take risk. Leaders must feel comfortable taking risk. Many decisions and actions are reversible and do not need extensive study. Say no more often. What is important about this step, say no more often? Saying no isn't just freeing, it's necessary. If you disagree with a decision, explain your stance and give evidence. And every boss, every leader, every manager is unique, but as a rule, honesty is always the best policy. Insist on the highest standards, or step number 8. Natural leaders have relentlessly high standards. A lot of people may think these standards are unreasonably high, but it's so important that leaders are continually raising the bar and driving their teams to deliver high quality products, services, and processes. So in this slide also you will see the my case study, why financial position, number of businesses, variables, and results, logistic regression, and natural logarithm. Businesses need for reflecting on success and financial position. So, in every country and in Kosovo, the pandemic has caused a lot of damage to companies or businesses, closing some, reducing the number of employees, etc. For businesses to succeed and have a good financial position in the market, the decision-making board in cooperation with the financial manager, accountant, and other must work harder and analyze in detail each financial item in the financial statements to see their financial position. Through financial statements, financial planning should be analyzed accurately for future profit, for the payment or of future liabilities according to the majority date, as well as how to have a sustainable policy for the benefit of the dividend. The efficiency of workers, the quality of customer service, and the way the business is financed affects the stability of the financial position. So, as I told before, at theories, all researchers in their papers, books as well included in this presentation, analyze the financial position of businesses in different aspects according to financial statements, giving a recommendation as to which items influence the success or failing of businesses depending on their size and activity. This topic was conducted in 100 enterprises of different activities, manufacturing or service. The data in this topic or research are primary and secondary. The primary data were realized through interviews with financial managers and other managers of enterprises or business, while the secondary data were collected from internal sources such as financial reports, documents, as well as external sources, the Agency for Business or Ministry of Economic Development. Now, also you will see the results. About the results, you will see in the next slide. Now, in this slide, you will see all variables about this topic or financial position, business size or financial position, or active of the balance sheet, liabilities from passive of the sheet balance, or income and expenses, return on assets, return on equity, net profit, etc. Also, you will see two hypotheses, the main hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. The main hypothesis is there is no relationship between the financial position and size of the enterprises or businesses. The alternative hypothesis, there is a significant relationship between the financial position and size of the businesses or enterprises. As well, the purpose of this hypothesis is to look except financial position and the business's size and other variables incorporated in them. Do they have a greater impact on the success of large or small enterprises or business? So in this slide, you will see the results about the financial position of enterprises in the market through natural logarithm and mathematical equations. This table indicates, according to the variables of financial position, as successful enterprises are 47 large enterprises and 7 small enterprises out of the total of 45 that have a good financial position, while according to the same variable but as unsuccessful enterprises or businesses or with very little success are 6 large enterprises and 40 small out of a total of 46. As well, you will see the probability of success of a large enterprise is 7.833. This means that the probability of success of a large enterprise is much as 7.883 or 6 in 47 businesses or enterprises. Now, I'm so sorry. Now, in this slide, you will see the results about classification and variables in the equations. This table indicates the classification results for each step through the cut-off value and the probabilities provided for the financial situation of the businesses with better financial position and those with poor financial position are 47 in the first step, 66% in the second step, 71.7 in the third step, 79.1 in the fourth step, 89% in the fifth step, 19.2% in the sixth step. In the steps 1, 2, 3, out of 100 successful businesses, 22 are classified as unsuccessful, while 24 are classified as successful. In step 4 and 5, the number of successful businesses increased to 25, while the number of unsuccessful enterprises or businesses decreased to 21. In the last step or sixth, the financial situation or position or of successful businesses is 29, while of the unsuccessful owners is 17. In each step, the importance of the financial position according to the size of the businesses increases. So, in function of the selection of the variables, all variables and constant are important at the level of 5%, but the variables with the highest level of importance are in the sixth step. Example, return of active and net profit, which while variables that are important but have negative value are liabilities and return in equity. Businesses need to more attention to these two variables in order to have a better financial position. So according to all the statistics, it can be said that all the logistic regression coefficients in step 6 are significant at the 5% significance level. Now, you in this slide, you will see the results about table number 3, original values of the dependent variables and other coded values. So this table indicates the financial position, highly successful businesses with number 1 and unsuccessful businesses or with little success with number 0. And businesses size, large enterprises or businesses are 45 and small businesses are 47. Out of a total of 54 large businesses, 47 of them are successful, while 6 are less successful or close to financial failing. Out of a total of 47 small businesses or enterprises, 7 of them succeeded, while 40 are at the risk of bankruptcy or financial failing. This increasing the size of the businesses also increases the natural logarithm of possibility. In other words, the rate of success of a large businesses compared to small businesses is higher, or 96%. So in this slide, you will see what should businesses do in the future. The success rate of large businesses was confirmed by 96%. Recommendation about this topic. This topic helps businesses to predict success or failure in the face of competitors. As a recommendation, the number 1 is the financial condition of the enterprises is very, very important to attract investors. Models used for this purpose help investors and financial managers to see financial position of businesses and as well to anticipate future financial situation by reducing unnecessary expenses. Other recommendation about this topic, large businesses or enterprises need to improve the negative variables to continue successfully in the market. Other recommendations, some financial items in some businesses have financial fluctuations need be done for their management and improvement efficiently. More specifically, financial transactions that increase total cost during production and service. Another recommendation, financial transaction must be carried out in accordance with financial planning, or small enterprises need to increase the number of financial transactions through accurate managerial planning. In the end, as a recommendation about this topic, service and production should be improved in enterprises with poor financial success. So, future thinking, foresight, and improvement. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you so much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the presentation from Professor Zulaj
And unfortunately, you can give questions to her because she is not here with us. And therefore, this is the very end of our session because there are no more presenters who would like to present their material. So we would like to come up to the very, very end of the session. Finally, we as the host of this international conference, this Mega Virtual International Conference 2021, would like to deliver our sincerest gratitude to all of the great speakers, especially from 9 diverse countries, and also the contribution and participation given by all of the participants. Thank you so much for your engagement today. Hopefully, we can meet again in the next occasion in the 6th day of this Mega Virtual International Conference 2021. I'm Arini Nurudayati as the moderator. Would like to say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Ding 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 ding
Thank you, Sir Mem Goeskol. Thank you, Sir David. Thank you, Mem Tahani. Thank you, Mem Rania. Thank you, Sir Dieter. Thank you, Sir Chot. Thank you, Sir Mem Daniela. Thank you, Sir Mbashi. Thank you, Prof. Deden. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mem Eva. And thank you, Sir Gofur. Salam cinta dari ujung kandang. Viva Pancasila students. See you tomorrow in last day.